Hello, friends in Christ. This reflection is for the 33rd Sunday of Ordinary Time. We are approaching the end of the liturgical year. Hard to believe, isn't it? If you may notice, like every end to a liturgical year, we hear something apocalyptic. Jesus talks about something that is going to come, about an ending, so to speak. Like, hey, it's the end of the world as we know it, right? But there's a catch. Jesus talks about the coming persecutions, and he really sets the stage of what was about to come for him when he was going to be handed over, betrayed, and killed. But what many don't realize is that he was going to be resurrected. Gilbert Keith Chesterton reminds us that the only reason that Christianity exists today is because Christianity knew how to rise from the grave, as opposed to many other isms that exist today, because you have men who founded communism, socialism, totalitarianism, the list goes on, but they never came out of the grave. As we reflect on the 33rd Sunday, and of course we're practically approaching the end of a very, I may not realize, but around this time a year ago, we had what was called the Year of Hope, the Jubilee Year of Hope. And it was started by Pope Francis. In this Jubilee of Hope, there's all these things that reminds us of what faith is all about. How we're supposed to live it out. The persecutions that are to come, friends, is because of our given testimony. Fulton Sheen reminds us that there are millions who hate what the church stands for. Likewise, when we encounter people that we thought we trusted, we thought that we're friends or whatever, but all of a sudden they want to stab us in the back. They did it because they don't know Christ. They did it because of jealousy. They did it because they don't know him. In a sense, as a Christian, we are going to be called to some form of persecution and martyrdom. We're going to be betrayed. We are going to be mocked, bullied. But we are called to a persevering faith. When Jesus was carrying his cross to Calvary, he could have dropped everything and, fight off all the buffets, the mockery, and the spitting that he endured along the way. But he chose to walk with grace and courage to fulfill the will of God that was in his life. Blessed Garek reminds us that, in quoting Proverbs 13:12, hope long delayed grieves the soul, and desire unfulfilled brings its weariness. And I think for many of us to have a perseverance, in order for us to hope, it takes a persevering faith. And Jesus talks about that in the Gospel of Luke, when he reminds them that when we have a persevering faith, our lives are secured. And as Blessed Garek reminds us, blessed is the man who whole hope rests in the Lord's name. Our hope is in the Lord, friends, who made the heaven and earth. We place our hope and trust in God. That has echoed through the generations. As the prophet Malachi reminds us, for you who fear my name, they will arise, the Son of Justice, with his healing rays. As we bring about the end of the liturgical year, something to think about is, how do you plan to live out hope? How do you plan to persevere with faith? How do you plan to display moral courage? Always remember, we have high hopes for God, and he will never disappoint. Persevere, friends. In this day and age, with everything's been happening, persecution of the Christians in Nigeria, the mistreatment of migrants and immigrants, pro-lifers being attacked, being discriminated, even those that support a certain political figure, they're being attacked as well. Yet, unlike those that like to whine, complain, loot, riot, they take it on. And most likely they're doing it quietly. That's because they're often just suffering for something that's greater. And we can only hope that when the time comes, we will rise above persecutions. Have hope, friends. The Lord is coming. Most importantly, trust in him. He'll take care of it. God bless.